Hey friends, welcome back to The Skeptical Engineer. Today we're tackling a question that tends to spark strong reactions. Does life require a recreator? Some of you have said that believing in a creator is irrational, that it means that you're not thinking critically. And instead of reacting to that, today we're going to slow down and actually examine the question carefully, using science, logic, and honest reasoning. So here's the core question. What is the probability that life requires a creator? And let's sharpen that even further. Given what we know about the origins and fine-tuning of the universe, how likely is it that intelligent life could exist without some designing intelligent setting the conditions? To think clearly, we need to compare two broad hypotheses. H1, natural origin, life arose from unguided physical and chemical processes in a universe that exists by chance, no creator involved. And H2, created origin, the universe along with the laws and constants that allow life were deliberately set by an intelligent cause. Now we can't assign exact probabilities like we would with dice or cards, but we can compare how plausible each explanation is using physics, cosmology, and logic. The fine-tuning evidence, the physics side. Let's start with one of the most striking observations in modern science. The universe appears finely tuned for life. There are fundamental constants in physics, numbers that govern how reality behaves, and many of them fall within extremely narrow ranges that allow life to exist. For example, the gravitational constant, change it by 1 part in 10 to the 60th power, and stars and galaxies wouldn't form properly. The strong nuclear force, a shift of 1 part in 10 to the 40th, and stable atoms wouldn't exist. The cosmological constant, fine-tuned to about 1 part in 10 to the 120th. Otherwise, the universe collapses or expands too quickly for structure. So when we ask, what is the probability that a random configured universe would permit life, estimates suggest something like life-permitting universe is approximately 10 to the minus 60th to 10 to the minus 120th. And that's not just small, it's staggeringly small. To put it in perspective, it's far less likely than picking one specific atom out of all the atoms in the observable universe. In most scientific contexts, probabilities this small are treated as effectively zero. Now we reach the interpretive step. Under H1, natural origin, we'd have to say either we got extraordinarily lucky or there are many possibly infinite universes, a multiverse, each with different constants. In that case, we just happen to exist in the one that supports life. And under hypothesis 2, created origin, the explanation is different. The constants are not random. They were set intentionally to allow complexity and life. So instead of chance, we have purposeful calibration. A simple analogy, think about it like this. Imagine you find a safe with 120 dials. Every single dial is set perfectly, so the safe opens. You'd naturally ask, was this random or set intentionally? That's essentially the fine-tuning question. Now, to be intellectually honest, we need to acknowledge both sides have challenges. The multiverse hypothesis, often used to support H1, is a serious idea in physics, but it's currently not directly testable. It explains fine-tuning by multiplying universes rather than explaining the underlying cause. On the other hand, H2, created origin, directly explains fine-tuning, but introduces an intelligent cause that we cannot observe directly. So we end up here. Naturalism leans on probability plus potentially unobservable multiverses. Design leans on inference to intelligence behind order. Can we assign a probability? Here's the honest answer. We cannot calculate an exact probability that life requires a creator, but we can reason about relative likelihood. If a life-permitting universe is extraordinarily rare under chance, and fine-tuning is real and measurable, then many thinkers conclude design may be more plausible than pure chance, depending on your assumptions. And that last part is crucial, because your conclusion depends on what you're willing to accept. If you accept a multiverse, natural explanations remain plausible. If you reject it, design becomes a stronger inference. So where does this leave us? The universe appears finely tuned for life to an extraordinary degree. The probability of such a universe arising by chance appears extremely low. Science does not yet provide a complete explanation for why these conditions exist. So we're left with two live possibilities. Life is the result of rare but natural processes in a vast or multiverse reality. Or life is the result of an intentional design by an intelligent cause. Neither is proven, both are actively debated. At the end of the day, this question pushes us beyond equations and into interpretation. The same evidence can lead to very different conclusions. Some look at fine-tuning and say, we got incredibly lucky. Others look at it and say, this looks intentional, and the probability you assign to a creator often reflects not just the data, but what you consider a satisfying explanation. Bottom line, both natural origin and created origin are rational positions that can be held by critical thinkers. This isn't a question of intelligence. It's a question of interpretation. So, my next podcast, I will deal with what kind of creator would create a universe fine-tuned for life. And I'm Tom, and this is The Skeptical Engineer. And thanks for watching. Until next time, keep questioning and stay skeptical.